Are you a religious leader, a celebrity, a corporate executive, a political leader, or business mogul, and you feel stifled by your leadership position? You feel boxed in by the constraints or the norms of the industry? Do you feel that there's an overwhelming sense of responsibility for the people you lead, so you suppress your true nature and creativity to not influence them against what your realm believes in? And do you feel ostracized from the industry because of your contradictory identity or beliefs? If so, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Naomi Olotayo, and I guide founders, creatives, and visionaries with multi-venture visions to align their brand universe and ecosystem with the vision that God has given them. And I also activate them in their capacity that they need to govern their respective industries, cultures, and realms. If this video activates you at all, and if you recognize yourself in my words, and you recognize that I'm the person that you've been looking for to partner with you to bring full materialization to the vision that God has given you, I would like to invite you to cross the threshold called the internal reckoning. The internal reckoning is my paid discernment threshold, where I hold space to discern your capacity, your readiness, and also the timing for a partnership for us to go on about together. If you are ready to be transformed and to trek on the process that is required and that your vision demands to bring it into full materialization in alignment with what God is showing you, then the link for the internal reckoning is down below. Anyways, let's get into today's video. If you do not know, if you have not watched my videos or just haven't known, governance essentially is the jurisdiction to set the tone and standard of a realm that the collective abides by. If you haven't watched my video, Realm versus Domain, make sure you watch it to get a deeper understanding. And also look in my playlist titled The Governance Archetypal System for Multi-Venture Founders. You'll get a whole deeper explanation about what governance is, so you can better follow along with this video if you don't know already. Anyways, governance, the jurisdiction to set the tone and standard of a realm that the collective abides by. God has given me the mandate to wake the governors, people with that kind of jurisdiction, to wake them up. Up until recently, there hasn't been space for them. The world has been run according to the container that has been set for us for a long time now. I like to always say that we are literally living in the vision of the colonizers from a long time ago. This is the world that they maybe not exactly envisioned, but we're pretty much living in it. We're living in the vision of so many people that didn't have our best in mind. And the reason why I've been called to wake you guys up now is because things are collapsing, times are shifting. We don't just need leaders to reinforce already made frameworks and ideologies and principles. We need people with new architecture, new blueprints, new strategy to give us an alternative to evolve into. So traditionally, at least for a long while, we have only ever had influencers and leaders. Leaders are the ones who are the pinnacle of aspiration and authority within a realm. And then influencers, or those with influence, are inspiring, they sway and shift trends within a realm. Both leaders and influencers don't evolve a realm beyond its already created principles. They can influence transformation, but they cannot change it. And make sure you also watch my video. What is it titled? You can't transform what you don't own, the principle of governance. That's another important video I need you to watch before you fully understand what I'm saying in this video. But yes, we've only had leaders and influencers. Leaders and influencers, they're pretty much one and the same, but the focus is slightly different. But all leaders are influencers, and a lot of influencers are leaders. It was good for a while because they reinforce systems and ideologies like capitalism and religion and they kept certain niches going, and that's what kept Hollywood going, and it just reinforced what was, right? However, the reason why you have never been able to just fully fit into that leadership position is because you have not been called to reinforce what is. You've been called to create something entirely new. This is why governance is important. Currently, the realms that we're all governed by are extractive, limiting, or against our evolution. Extractive, I'm really saying capitalism. Limiting, I'm saying religion. And against our evolution, I'm saying patriarchy. These realms, these systems, these ideologies are keeping us stuck, and you feel it. That's why you buck against every single position that you've ever been in. Not because you're not a hard worker, not because you're not a good employee, but because you were never meant to reinforce what is. You've been called to create what's to come. When we only have people who are leaders and influencers, when we only create people, or we only, build people up to be leaders and influencers, we pretty much are investing in the structure of systems that we all know need change and transformation. You've been given your multi-venture vision, your multidimensional, empire-sized vision by God to rewrite the rules and foundations of our existence. And I don't want you to hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying we're literally going to change the laws of gravity. However, what I am saying is that we're creating a new world order. And I am not saying that in a, conspiracy theory way. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that governance, what you've been called to operate within, the jurisdiction that you hold, you're meant to rewrite and recreate the confinements of realms. One of my favorite examples to give is Christianity or evangelicalism. How long have we been bound to the frames of thought that are incomplete, that have harmed so many of us? Imagine if we had a body of thought that wasn't shame-based. Imagine if we had a body of thought that didn't extract from us, that didn't keep us in a perpetual state of victimhood, slavehood, and lack. That's your job. You think that you're just supposed to be another pastor, but it was never about that. It was about the blueprints that God has placed in your womb that you're supposed to externalize, that other people will organize themselves beneath and under and around. You become the standard. You become the new principle. You become the exemplification of it through your embodiment. Governors are leaders and influencers with a sole calling to set the rules, the tone, and the standard. This is why your vision never made sense. This is why your skill set, although vast, could never be placed in something like a regular corporate leader position, because you expand beyond it. Your jurisdiction is beyond it. Do you know how leaders have people gather around them? They just naturally, people naturally organize themselves around them. Like for me, I've always been a leader in my life. There's something I've always known. It's always been confirmed to me. Wherever I go, people organize themselves around me. They organize themselves around my words, around my leadership, around my thoughts. They get rearranged by me. I forgot where I was going with this, but bear with me. But yeah, they get rearranged by me, right? That's governance. It's just on a smaller scale, right? So if you're somebody who naturally shows up online and you just attract a huge audience so quickly, if you're impeccable at audience building, if you're somebody where everywhere you go, people just, like, kids love you and people just come around you, that's a form of governance. Just the organization of order, right? When you are somebody who operates from governance, the organization level is higher. So you may have leaders in a church where everyone organizes around them, but people don't just organize around you to follow you. You organize our interaction and our relationship with reality itself, and people organize around that standard that you set. That is governance. This is why your vision doesn't make sense, and why every single time you try to place it into something that already exists, it's too big for it. This is why you could never just be the sales coach. This is why you could have never just been the singer. This is why it was never just about politics. It was always bigger than that. It will never fit in any system. that is available to us right now to thrive in, because you're not meant to exist within it to reinforce it. You're meant to break the confinements and restructure it and build a realm that is in alignment with God's divine order. Your very essence lives to script out reality in alignment with truth and integrity. That is your role and call. This is why leadership has always been too small for you. You were never called to just lead. You've been called to govern and legislate. That is who you are. If this video activates you and you know that I am the person that is meant to partner with you to bring out your multi-venture vision into full materialization, the link to my paid discernment threshold is down below. That is the gate that you enter to access all my offerings, all my programs, and any conversation that we need to have to figure out what partnership is best for us. Anyways, I thank you for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe because I have a lot more coming. And I thank you for stopping by today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.